what is natural sciences?
Physics, chemistry, mathematics. These are natural sciences. You can even count geography. Mathematics, I chose mathematics because I fell in love with it.
So you mean to say in class 10th you started your BSc mathematics?
It came naturally, and that's why I did it.
Wow. So I assume that is how you got a scholarship?
That is one of the reasons for sure.
People are very scared that they don't want to send their student or children to Canada because of some political issues. How is the overall political scenario for Indian students?
There were some situations where some students revolted, and that's why they had to face the law there.
A lot of students now, they want to make a career in AI. What advice you have for them?
So the AI boom, I would say, is about to end soon.
Could you please explain my students or my audience how to get a scholarship and what are the tick marks they should look into for getting a scholarship?
So this is where it gets a bit tricky in Canada.
Namaste. Welcome to podcast Global Thinkers. मेरा नाम अरुण अग्रवाल है, an overseas education expert. I'm happy to say that today I have one of my favorite students, Mr. Sohail Sarkar. He's studying at one of the world's best university called University of Toronto, which is among the top 30 universities in the world. Thank you, Sohail, for coming today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Sohail. Sohail, please inform my students and my audience what you are doing presently and about your story.
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. So I did my middle school and my primary school at Don Bosco. That's where I started my career. The one thing that I always did is especially for mathematics and the sciences, I would start studying for the next class and the next class. And by the time I was in 8th grade, I realized that there's nothing much I can do here anymore. So I made a conscious shift in the middle of class 9 to Techno India Group Public School. Once I was there, I finished my class. I did the same thing there. And by the time I was mid class 10, I knew mathematics was the subject that I wanted to study. And I had just started studying like BSc level mathematics.
Okay, so you mean to say in class 10th you started your BSc mathematics?
Yes.
Oh wow. So by class 10th you had finished your 10th mathematics, 11th and 12th mathematics as well.
Yes. That is something that I always it came naturally, and that's why I did it.
Wow. So I assume that is how you got a scholarship?
That is one of the reasons for sure.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons for sure. But anyway, it was at that moment that I realized that I do not want to pursue engineering, and I would much prefer pursuing a degree in natural sciences. The problem was that India does have excellent schools for BSc education, but there are always better options abroad. And that's when I expanded my research beyond the scope of India. And basically, what I did is grade 11, I researched universities that I might go, countries that I might be interested in.
So you started your research in class 11th itself. Super. Okay.
And then class 12, of course, board exams, class 10 went really well. So did class 12, even though it was the pandemic year. But the online exams, based on which I got my initial score for CBSE class 12.
So what was your score in PCM, physics, chemistry, maths in class 12 CBSE?
Okay, so all of them were around 97.
Okay, so you scored 97 in each of the subjects respectively, kind of.
On average.
Average,
I
yes.
don't remember
Okay.
Maths was, of course, higher.
Yes.
The same was for class 10 as well. And then I realized I have to apply, and the application process starts early, of course. Even when you're in class 12, that's when you apply. So during the summer, autumn, winter, I grinded as much as I could. I applied to a lot of US universities and Canadian universities, and even some universities in Singapore. Got accepted to many, some rejected, some didn't, some just said, just wait for some time. Maybe we can have.
So some universities with your profile also rejected the application.
Yes.
That's one important point. Okay. So even a 97% is not assurance of an admission.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely. In total, you have to have a very holistic profile. It cannot be that you are just someone who is excellent in one thing and you do not know anything about part B or part A. Yeah. But anyway, so luckily I had gotten scholarships from about 5 universities in total.
Uh-huh.
Um, but the highest and the cheapest option for me was University of Toronto in Canada.
So I would say not cheapest, the most affordable one.
Affordable.
The affordable one with the highest number of
Yes.
highest amount of scholarship. Yes.
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 Most
And I
affordable.
believe it was a scholarship of about $1 lakh, which comes to about 60 lakh rupees in Indian currency,
A
which
little
is
bit
huge.
yeah, higher than that, but
Yes.
yeah, somewhere
Yes.
around that
Yes.
ballpark. Um, so, and one of the reasons why I applied to University of Toronto is because back in class 10, when I was like researching like places I should go to for pursuing a higher education, like in mathematics or whatever I was interested in, natural sciences. It stuck out because of Vector Institute of Technology, because of some of the work that Geoffrey Hinton, the person who received Nobel Prize in Physics last year, um, and all of that research pointed out to like University of Toronto, where world-class research in AI, machine learning was happening, and I knew I wanted to be there.
So you realized in class 10th, 11th that you
Yes.
wanted to do machine learning and AI, and which year it was? Please tell my students which year it was.
So that was around 2018.
So 2018, you did your
2019.
entire research that machine learning and AI would be the future.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
And that's when I went to University of Toronto. But before that, of course, because it was such an uncertain time, I always had backups.
Yes.
Presidency College in Kolkata and a bunch of universities in South India.
Yes, we had few discussions
Yes,
as well
exactly.
during those days. Yes.
Yes, and like I remember you helped me immensely,
Thank you.
immensely when it came to like, first of all, I was delusional about how the corporate world actually works. And you sat me down, took a piece of paper, point A, point B, point C, and everything was mapped out in like 5 minutes. I knew, okay, this is how it actually happens. And because I was preparing for examinations in India for like the BSc entrance exams, the immigration process was completely handled by people from Global Reach. I was not involved with it.
Thank you.
So that was very helpful. Could not have done without Global Reach and you.
Okay. So now what are you doing presently? Please tell my students.
Okay, yeah. So right
What
now,
subject are you studying at the University of Toronto?
right now I'm studying, well, I started studying with applied mathematics and computer science. Since then there has been like some shifts. I have excluded some courses, added some courses.
You have that option, that
Yes,
flexibility,
flexibility.
which generally in Indian institutions we don't get. Yes.
So if I wanted to study physics, a bit of physics while I was studying applied mathematics, that is always open. If I wanted to study Nietzsche or philosophy, which I did last year, I could do it. And I do not regret it at all. I learned so much from those classes. And looking back, like this is something that I would never get in India. So right now, to summarize, I'm still studying applied mathematics, and I'm doing a computer science minor, which was a major initially. And over this time, like since then, I've interned in IB investment banking. I've also interned with one of the Maple Eights, which is a pension fund in Canada. I've contributed to some ML research at University of Toronto. And
Okay, so you're also helping University of Toronto with research for machine learning.
in University of Toronto libraries, yeah, they were
Excellent.
pursuing a project and I helped with it. And currently, right now, I am working with a very, very impressive team from Harvard and MIT in Boston, Massachusetts. I live in Toronto, but it's remote work, and I have that flexibility since I'm located in North America to work anywhere in North America. So I'm working there.
Wow.
For VC fund.
So you have already achieved so much, even you have not completed your degree, but you've done so well for yourself. So good to know that.
I try.
Great, great. Let's start. So let's start. First of all, tell me or tell my audience what is natural sciences. In India, we are not very much aware of the word natural sciences. Could you please elaborate?
Physics, chemistry, mathematics. these are natural sciences. You can even count geography in it because a lot of it is mineral studies. That's it. That's natural sciences in
Yes.
gist.
Okay. So, what motivated you to study in Canada or let's say overseas compared to India? I mean, what was your analysis?
First of all, it was the flexibility that I knew I would get if I went there, and faculty. Um, I did not just haphazardly apply to all universities that I could find my hand on. I only applied to McGill and University of Toronto in Canada. I got accepted to both of them. Both had scholarships, but University of Toronto at that moment was ranked number one. It was top 15. I believe it has, like, since then it has degraded a bit. But at that moment, it was the best one, and hence, um, like I mentioned, it was the most affordable one. So I pursued that.
Super, super. So, can you please explain my students or the audience the process for getting a scholarship? You got a huge scholarship that was about $1 lakh, which is huge. So, could you please explain my students or my audience how to get a scholarship and what are the tick marks they should look into for getting a scholarship?
So this is where it gets a bit tricky in Canada. Some universities will look into your holistic profile, but University of Toronto, they did not give any concern. They did not have any concern about my holistic activities. They only focused on my board's results, which was at that time hard earned but phenomenal, to be
Yes.
honest. So that was the only reason I got these scholarships.
And why do you think, or how did you identify at such an early stage that you want to study mathematics? Because during my counseling sessions, I see majority of the students are not able to figure out what they want to study. Specifically, very rarely I get students who want to study natural sciences. So do you can you recommend some process for students to identify what they are passionate about?
Of course. So what I did, one of the reasons why I shifted from ICC to CBSE curriculum was I knew that ICC demands a lot of attention to all subjects, and in CBSE I could, like, focus my attention to limited subjects. That was step one. And throughout this process, my mother was a huge help. She teaches chemistry, so I would just sit with her in her classes and I would just listen to what she was teaching to 11th standard students. And so basically, I would take notes as well, and that's done. Uh, I was going to, so it's Ekalavya Academy in Hakimpara. Avijit sir, who used to teach maths, who still teaches maths. So what he would do with me is that he would give me worksheets from, if I was in grade 8, he would give me grade 9, grade 10 worksheets. And I would just keep practicing. And that's when I so these are the few people who introduced the idea that I could, like, do more while I was in the same standard. And once I got that idea, I started doing it by myself. So physics, I self-studied. I had the books, I opened them, and I studied them. YouTube was a huge help. Khan Academy, Code Academy, everything is free online.
I mean, I wish students listening to this, in the sense the resources are available online.
Everything is online.
Stop blaming the situation. If you are
Absolutely.
interested, if you are
Yeah,
passionate
absolutely.
about something, YouTube is one of the best resources we can utilize.
Yes. YouTube has everything. So the coding projects that I had when I was applying to universities, all of them I learned how to do it from YouTube. I was also briefly interested in robotics. So a robotic arm, everything, YouTube. And Code Academy for learning how to code. Um, and mathematics, I chose mathematics because I fell in love with it. And it's, to anyone who likes mathematics, the maths that we are taught in class 11, 12, or any previous years is completely different from the mathematics you get to learn in university and colleges.
Okay.
So it's about the theory of mathematics. You learn definitions and you learn what a space is, and anything related to theoretical maths. I'll not go into that.
Yeah.
And I use YouTube again. I think there's a YouTuber, Grant Sanderson, 3 Blue 1 Brown. He makes excellent videos, and I found myself like falling in love with the subject, and hence mathematics.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And at the moment, how is the job opportunities in Canada? A lot of people are saying the no jobs, the salaries are not good. What's the situation? The real-time job opportunities in Australia, in Canada, in terms of part-time jobs and in terms of full-time job.
So, on a global scale, the job market in any country is bad right now. That being said, Canada is also in that same situation. Uh, but if you were to compare, it's much better than India. Like, if you're applying to a position, I'm in ML, so if I'm applying to an ML position, in about an hour or like 6 hours, the position has to be closed. In India, it's about 1 to 2 hours if it's a respectable, reputable firm.
Uh-huh.
So um, it's closing in like 1 hour, 2 hour. That's the application period gap. Um, in Canada, it's about 6 to 7 hours if it's very reputable and competitive. And of course, you have like FANG companies which open their applications for like a month. So you have a whole month to apply to that. Uh, Regarding selection, it's just that there's so much volume of application that there's a high chance that the next person might be zero point 0.1 times better than you, and that's all the difference that it takes.
So how did you grab this kind of opportunities, internships, working with MIT project right now, working as a research assistant in your university? How did you grab these opportunities?
So,
What suggestion you have?
of course, like it was not a linear line, it was a sine wave. There were a lot of like the down times, and there were some good times. What I did, the good decision that I made was I studied applied mathematics. All of my friends, everyone, computer science, computer engineering, engineering in general. And now what has happened is that the fields are so saturated that like there is literally no place to like. The benefit of studying applied mathematics was that I got some time to like develop skills that I wanted to have. So if I wanted to focus on statistics, I focused on statistics. If I wanted to study a lot of probability, I did that. And ultimately, machine learning is just an optimization problem. So it really helped.
So even after getting admission into a top university like University of Toronto, studying so much, there's no guarantee to jobs. I mean, it's that competitive.
Right now, it's a
Yes.
competitive market.
Yes. So my next question would be, what are the living standards and how are the accommodations the cost of accommodations in Canada, and overall how is the living standards?
So I did some studying about this for a project which was in my course. I can talk about it in details. The mean right now is about between 2,199 to $2,600 a month.
A month, the cost of
We
living.
are saying Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars, of course.
And the median is somewhere around 2,500. That being said, I manage all my expenses within the 1,200 bracket.
How do you manage that? That's interesting.
I'm very frugal. To start with, I'm very frugal. Um, I reuse a lot of stuff, and it is actually important to do that because I see my friends there who are in debt. That is not good, and that's only because they want to live a very extravagant lifestyle.
So does internships or part-time jobs, do they pay you?
They do. They definitely do. So in my first year I had no jobs. I was like focused in studying. Second year, luckily I got a part-time opportunity within my University of Toronto libraries, and luckily it paid twice the minimum wage. Half of the people who work, not even half, like 70% of the students who work earn minimum wage, and I was lucky 30%. So I was earning 2 times the minimum wage, well, 3 times the minimum wage, which was a huge boost. So basically, I started with that part-time opportunity in IT, identity management, all of that, university IDs and everything. So it was just that. So it paid me well enough to manage my expenses on my end.
And at the moment, are you getting paid for the work you're doing with MIT?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so it's not directly MIT, but it's a venture capital firm.
so, but I hope they're paying you well.
they're paying me well.
Yeah. Because why I ask you this question is in India or in a few other universities or countries, I see students don't get paid well. So I assume you're getting paid well, and it helps you to cover your cost of living as well.
Yes.
That's excellent. And my another question, I'm not sure whether you're ready for it or not. So in Canada, specifically from India, a lot of students go to community colleges and they go for diplomas instead of degrees to save money. So what's your take that? I mean, community college versus universities and diplomas versus degrees. What's your take on this?
So I have not met too many people from like the diploma
Diploma
background.
background.
But based on the current job market, I would not recommend that. Um, Also, I believe there's an immigration rule where like colleges no longer actually can like turn your study permit into work permit
Yes.
permit thing, PWGP.
Yes.
I don't think that colleges do that anymore. So um, colleges I would not recommend.
And what's your advice for the students who are dreaming of going to Canada, let's say in 2026 or further? What's the present situation and what's your advice for them?
If you're going out, there's always an like an unpredicted risk factor that always exists. So that can get worse, that can get like better. So that should not be your concern. Like you should just keep yourself safe, number one. Number two, do not go to A or S tier colleges, sorry, universities. Go to B tier or C tier college universities. The reason I say that is because University of Toronto is so competitive. It literally takes the life off of me, and it's not recommended for anyone. I would not recommend anyone do that. But there are many better like even though they're listed B and C, like B and C, they are excellent. Western University, McMaster University, there are more, plenty. Um, U Ottawa is like A tier,
Yes.
um, but aim for those colleges, universities, sorry, and more importantly, um, study something that has a lot of relevancy in the world of tech.
Tech. Yes.
Yeah.
This is one advice I give to all my students, that in today's competitive world, you have to make sure that you have some component of technology in your
Yes.
degrees. That is
Exactly.
again very good advice. So now please tell me your field of expertise. A lot of students now, they want to make a career in AI. What advice you have for them? What do you think is the future plans, and what kind of degrees they should pursue if they want to make a career out of AI?
So the AI boom, I would say, is about to end soon.
Haha. This is
So
interesting. Okay.
yeah, by end of this, so the AI boom is it happened because of Transformers. Transformers is just um, a fancy way of saying ChatGPT.
Okay.
So ChatGPT is what like brought people's attention to AI is the thing.
Yes.
Ultimately, ChatGPT is a very stupid object.
Uh-huh.
It what it does is just like predicts the next word. It's a very smart Google autocorrect feature.
Okay.
So what I would recommend is that do not go into AI, do not study AI. Instead, study in depth something else, biotechnology, mining engineering. What happens with that is that um, very soon, like with LLMs, a lot of the tasks that involve like a repetition can be perfected with them, with
With
LLMs.
the LLMs.
Yeah. Uh, but like if you're just someone who studies AI,
Uh-huh.
your relevancy in the world will like decrease slowly because there's always a next AI tool.
Okay.
There's always a better tool. You will have a very hard time to
That's a very interesting perspective I got to know today. Okay.
yeah, you'll
Okay.
have a very hard time like coming up or like
Upgrading yourself.
upgrading or
Huh.
like shifting. The reason why I say biomedical engineering or any, not just engineering, physics or anything, finance is one thing, one of the sectors that will likely not be affected by AI.
This is an interesting perspective. Okay.
Like, of course, like for AI reading and everything, but investment banking in general, or like quantitative finance,
Uh-huh.
or like a bank teller might their job might be replaced, but
Okay.
I'm talking about core finance,
Okay. Fintech.
CFA,
Fintech.
fintech.
Huh.
These things, they'll be harder to displace with AI,
Okay.
and it's because like money is an important resource to be replaced with
Agree.
uh, like an entity that's not
Agree.
human.
So, what exactly do you mean by the word that AI boom would be ending soon? Please elaborate.
So uh, there was a silicon shortage back in 2022, and since then, the GPU prices,
Huh.
GPUs are graphical processing
Have
units,
shortened up.
yeah, which basically run transformers. They're good for matrix multiplications. So anything that's related to AI right now, LLMs, ChatGPT, this model, that model, uh, they are run on chips,
Yes.
and it's not just the chips and everything, but the market is super duper oversaturated right now. I did not live through this, but in 1999 there was an internet boom.
Huh.
What happened was a lot of companies, including Sun Microsystem and very reputed companies, they just lost their market. And when that happens, the relevancy of AI will like decrement, and there will be a demand for people who are specialized in fields.
That's an excellent,
I'm not
interesting
saying you
perspective.
should do PhDs.
Uh-huh.
PhDs would be a bad idea,
Uh-huh.
but specialization, and as in like you consume a lot of knowledge in different subjects and you specialize in all of them, so you can bring an insight that an LLM cannot bring.
Excellent. My last question of the day, one of my favorite questions. I mean, you were so focused in class 10th, you had finished CBSE,
Yeah.
11th, 12th. What's your advice for the students who are using social media or internet technology in the wrong way? In the sense, you used YouTube to learn all the tools you wanted, all the subjects. So, my last question of the day is please give one advice to students to use technology or internet in the right way and to make a career out of it.
So back then it was hard. All my friends were really on expensive phones, and they were playing PUBG and Call of Duty, and it was. I definitely had. I was getting isolated from my peers, but like I also was able to recognize the fact that this is leading them to nowhere, and I had this fear that I need to make something of myself that is like people should look at me and be like, okay, he did something,
Glad to know that you realized it at such an early age.
and I wanted to leave behind something, which is not just like my dead body, but like people to look
A
at.
legacy.
Yeah, a legacy. And my mother had immense influence in that. She always encouraged me to pursue anything that was beyond my academics. Uh, Social media right now, in short, no, don't, because unless you're using it for like, there are some Instagram channels itself which is very educational, but Instagram for like what you do, for what you eat, YouTube for watching. I'm not saying do not have any fun. I used to watch movies 24/7. I I would go to HBO Max and I would watch everything from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. in the morning. Um, but you have to limit yourself to only those resources which actually contribute to you being better at some skill.
Super. Excellent. I mean, this is exactly what I feel that
Yeah.
use the time and use the technology in the right way.
True, true, true.
Do not get carried away by just with no output.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sohel.
No
It was
worries.
a
No
pleasure.
worries.
I hope all my audience likes the conversation we had. If you really like the content, request all of you to please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Thank you so much. Thank you.